where the party's at. This is how we roll.
Hey guys, Nathan here with BTBS Sports. We haven't done an episode like this in a long time, and that's because of personally being busy in a lot of things, primarily just giving up because of stuff. But now I've decided to bring the channel back on to more on TikTok. We're at the BTBS Sports 21 on TikTok. Follow us on there. It'll also link you from there to our Instagram and YouTube pages as well. So what I'm planning to do is have TikTok be more useful, doing a lot more things on there because I can do a lot of things in 1 minute, and then do things with this if something controversial comes up. And we're going to talk about 3 different things that are, one's kind of big for college football, and then 2 things that are kind of need to be talked about, one in soccer and one in baseball. So that's what we're going to plan on do, is not do many episodes on YouTube and Instagram that are like 10 minutes unless it's topics that we need to talk about and all that. May do some season previews and all that maybe too. So you're gonna try to do some things lightly with 10-minute videos and then do more stuff with TikTok and possibly start adding it to my Instagram stories as well for BTBS Sports. So that's going to be the model going forward. So it'll be fun to do that, I think, and probably more enjoyable for you guys, the fans of BTBS Sports. Remember, it's by a fan for the fans, and that's what we're going to try to do. So let's get into the 3 things, one from each of the main things we talk about: college football, baseball, and world soccer. First thing we're going to get into is about world soccer. As you guys may have heard, there was a big controversy that is now starting to make waves, is the whole thing with surrounding Christian Erikson's cardiac arrest situation on the field the other day for Denmark against Finland. What nobody is what stories are coming out that UEFA forced both teams to continue the match after Erikson collapsed in the 43rd minute of the game. My view is, I think UEFA is in the wrong. I think UEFA needs to know that was a traumatic experience for players, basically watching another player pretty much die on the field, but watching him come back to life by the doctors and medical personnel resuscitating him on the field. Luckily, Christian Erikson's doing okay. Prayers out to him to get well soon and to come back and hopefully maybe play the beautiful game that he has for the years past for Tottenham and now for Inter Milan and for Denmark. So I think UEFA's in the wrong, going back to this, forcing the player, both teams, after watching what happened to Erikson, to force them play after they stopped the game in the 43rd minute, and then they didn't play for 90 minutes. They let them go back in. And then I guess UEFA was talking with both the presidents of these football associations, and basically said, you guys have to play the game. What I think should have been done is abandon the game from that 43rd minute, allow both teams to play their other two group stage games of the Euros, and then come back and start from the 43rd minute playing that game. As you guys know, after the 90 minutes, they did come back on the field and play, and Finland won the game 1-0, and the greatest sportsmanship ever by Finland. Once they scored, they didn't celebrate. And also to the other players who are in the tournament as well, giving their support to Christian Erikson, scoring goals and saying, hey, this one's for Erikson, and Christian Erikson, we love you, we miss you, and all that. But I seriously think UEFA needs to be brought up to me, if there is such a thing, to the FIFA Ethics Committee, and saying, maybe you guys need to be warned next time this happens, to where we don't have a situation like this again happen, and then they force teams to play. I think if something happens like this again, abandon the game, and then worry about finishing it out later. So that's my take on the whole UEFA handling the Christian Erikson situation in the wrong manner, in a way that they should do a better job, and do that. Second thing we're going to talk about is Major League Baseball's stance with substances. It's been talked about since the beginning of the season. You've had manager get ejected for a player simply having his hat changed to where if the pitcher had thrown a pitch with that hat on, the pitcher would have been ejected, and then the manager would have had to change his bullpen out. Why Mike Shildt of the Cardinals decided to argue that is beyond me, get himself ejected, and he got to save his bullpen. His team got to save the bullpen because the umpires made a preventive situation from happening. But yet, you as a manager thinks it's a great time to argue and then blast the rest of the league when basically your player was the one doing it. So back to what we're talking about here with that situation. Now the MLB has come out. The memo hasn't yet been sent out, but the rumors have it. It's a 10-game suspension with any foreign substance, no matter what it is, other than rosin bag, that they have to. They'll be suspended 10 games without pay. But we don't know if there's going to be more for other violators if they violate it a second time. If not, but right now the first thing will be a 10-game suspension and without pay. So Major League Baseball trying to do something in the middle of the season. I think what they should do is implement something that's going to go for the rest of the season and say, hey, we'll continue these talks as part of the CBA negotiations at the end of the season and in the off season. So that's what's going on with that. So I think the MLB needs to put the memo out, discuss more things further down the road in the offseason. So now switching to the third and final thing, and that is college football is expanding possibly to 12 teams. The College Football Playoff Committee is going to look into this. They're going to discuss it. It probably won't happen for another year or two, maybe even 3 years down the road before that happens when we have the 12-team playoff. The parameters right now that are rumored, and actually there are some truth behind it, is 1 through 4 will have a bye. 5 through 12 will play, but they will play at the highest team seeds home field. So then I guess assuming after that round's done, then when they play the 1 through 4 from the first round's games, I guess the rest of the games on further down will be at neutral sites. So that'll be cool. So that means we'll probably have college football champion, if they're that dominant, go 18, 19, and 0 to be the national champion. My thoughts on the playoff. Yes, this needs to happen. One, it increases revenue and the popularity of college football. The fact that it's basically, to me, it's also setting the players up to be able to play a full season once they get in the NFL and make those millions of dollars that they will make, and gets them conditioned for that. And I think that's a pretty good thing that college football is doing. Yes, I think last year was kind of the first year in which they couldn't really decide who that fourth and final team was, and I think doing it this way with the 12 team, it allows you to select the 12 best teams, which I think the Power 5 conference champions, if their records are that good, will then be into the playoff, and then you have 7 at-large bids. So that means not just one team from each conference. That means that could be multiple teams from those Power 5 conferences playing for a national championship. And I think college football has done it the right way. I think it's going to be awesome to watch more high-pressured, intense games. And it will also force these teams to regular season to forget playing these lower-named FBS division whatever schools, and to play those marquee matchups early in the season to get your resume built to be one of those 12 teams if you eventually lose in your conference games later in the season, to then have that resume to say, oh, look, they beat this team and they beat that team, and then maybe they are one of the 12 best to be in the college football playoff. So college football playoff going to 12 teams is awesome. Guys, this is how I want to do this going forward. My thoughts in 10 minutes of certain subjects going on in each sport that needs to be talked about and all of that. And don't forget, follow us here at By the Bay Sports on all of our social medias. And don't forget, we're back on TikTok at By the Bay Sports 21, and we'll be doing a lot of content on there going forward. So, guys, with that, signing off.